All right, Pranay, I want to bring you in, give us an understanding because, of course, what is going on in terms of the conflict in West Asia, reflecting at the G7 summit. The US president has left the summit early, citing the conflict there. And now what we're actually looking at is possible escalation. What role is US going to play in all of this? Because what seems to be, at least right now, an understanding that there is no off-ramp or an attempt for ceasefire right now. That's not happening anytime soon.
Absolutely right, Preeti. But if you parse all these statements, one thing is very clear. There is a consistent statement which is coming from all these Western bloc countries, including the United States, that no way they can let Iran have nuclear weapons. That is the same pitch Israel is also making, and that is the pretext on which they have launched their Air Force operations, taking forward Sandeep's point. This is a very unique operation carried out by the Israeli Air Force because they are not only traveling to 1,500 kilometers carrying out these operations, they've already taken out the air defense systems of Israel and making Iran very vulnerable. So at this juncture, there is a fear of escalation because if the United States jump into this conflict, because the very idea of denuclearizing Iran, that is only possible for Israel with the help of United States, because the B-2 stealth bomber, the B-2 Spirit bombers, which United States has, and which has the ammunition, the MOP bomb, which they have, that is the only mean with which they can denuclearize Iran, because that is required to decimate or to destroy the facilities like Fordo. Do US want to go about that? Do they really want to join Israel in this campaign? We are yet to see about that, Preeti, because President Donald Trump is back in White House. He's likely to hold a Situation Room meeting along with his commanders and in his security advisors. There are indications that US might want to help. And as far as the ceasefire is concerned, Preeti, I would want to make it a point here that if you see some of the Western countries, some of the European countries are making a pitch for the ceasefire, de-escalation. But what did President Donald Trump say? He said that Israel is doing good and no way they can let Iran have nuclear weapons. So if the central line, if the basic idea is to denuclearize Iran, how that is happening, how that can happen, and if US has to join, how far that campaign would go, because Israel is also asking for the regime change in Iran. So will there be a regime change? Will there be another Iraq? Will there be? It is going to be a very messy situation, and we as in India has our own concern, because this is not far from India, and we have our interest in Iran. We have our investment in Chabar. We have our people in Iran. We are in the process of that evacuation operation, taking out our people from Iran. But definitely this is going to be very messy if US and Israel want to have both denuclearizing Iran.
Just coming in, and the reason I'm coming in is, where do we stand in terms of evacuation? How many Indian citizens right now are stranded where Iran is concerned? How many have we been able to get out?
A very valid question, Preeti, here, because we have our own concern vis-a-vis this escalating situation and tension in West Asia, especially in Iran. We have about 10,000 people in Iran. Some of them are resident there, they are working there, but around 2,000 is the number of Indian students, those who are studying in various medical universities of Iran. They are the priority. Also, the priority is to get people out from Tehran, because the capital of Iran is the primary target, which is being targeted by the Israeli Air Force, and that's why large number of people have been already taken out. People have been shifted to a city called Qom in Iran, and from there people are being taken to the various border points. Around 110 individuals and around 110 Indians have been made to cross over to Armenia, and they are now safely reached the Yerevan, which is the capital of Armenia, and another batch is likely to cross over via Turkmenistan border, because Ashgabat, which is the capital of Turkmenistan, is closer to the border, Iran-Turkmenistan border, so that is also being worked out. But also people are being taken on safer places, which are which are away from that conflict zone, because Tehran, Isfahan, and all these cities are the primary target where the military establishments are there, where the nuclear facilities are there.
All right, so word, of course, now also coming in that there have been fresh strikes where Tehran is concerned. But stay with me, Pranay. I want to just bring in Sandeep there, because from what Pranay said, the kind of commentary that is coming in, especially from the G7, from America, Sandeep, it does look that we are definitely standing at the precipice of escalation. Now, what that might be is the big question. This war is not going to remain limited. There's definitely going to be a spiraling of it. Now, will it be regional, global? In what context? What are the red lines?
Well, Preeti, the red line here is actually an attack by Iran on US bases in and around West Asia. There are something like 9 US bases in West Asia in different countries: UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Iraq. All of these countries have US bases. There's something like 50,000 US personnel on all of these bases, and that is a red line. If Iran were to attack any of those bases, that would be a very big red line. And my hunch is that all of these forces are being moved into the region to exactly prevent Iran from carrying out an attack like this. If Iran and the regime are fighting with their back to the wall, as you mentioned, they're literally alone. There's nobody who's supporting them overtly. The GCC countries are just standing by quietly. Russia and China are not saying anything significant. Iran is actually bearing the brunt of all of these attacks from Israel by itself, and of course the US could join in very rapidly. And if Iran crosses that line, Preeti, and attacks US bases, targeting US servicemen, that would be a very, very big red line.
No support, Sandeep, you say, but what about Iran proxies, the Hezbollah? How much will that weigh in?
Hezbollah has been decapitated as of last year by that pager bomb attacks. They are in no shape to fight. Syria, Assad is gone. It used to be a very important Iranian ally. The Houthis are where they are, way down in Yemen, thousands of kilometers south. They can't do much. There's no one who can really come to Iran's assistance right now, which is why the regime is in a very, very tough situation.
So is that, Pranay, what you're picking up, Sandeep, I'm sorry I'm coming in, and maybe you can come in. I want to bring in Shivani as well. So with what Sandeep says, are we actually looking right now, at least with all indications on ground and the global voices that we see speak, where the G7 summit is concerned, the president going back, leaving it, keeping in mind the conflict, that we could actually be even looking at a forced regime change? Are we looking at that right now, Sandeep? You think that could be on the cards?
I'm looking at two possible options based on what Donald Trump just said. He said the end, right? He said that they were pushing for the end. Now, what does the end mean? What does he mean by the end? Is it a regime change? Or is it the end of Iranian nuclear weapons program? Or is it both? The fact is that if you take out the regime, that means the end of the nuclear weapons program, the Iranian nuclear weapons program.
Pranay, you want to weigh in on that?
Definitely, Preeti. I want to make a point here that, why at this juncture? That Israel is already engaged in a conflict in West Asia with Hamas, with Gaza, with Hezbollah, with Houthis. But still, to have a peaceful neighborhood, it is not possible because all these, proxies were being assisted, they have been held, and they've been supported by Iran. Israel has been trying to, and letting US to have some solution. The previous regime, previous administration, the Biden administration, they have worked with them. But there is no end to it. And when President Donald Trump calls about an end, you have to see there is an India linkage as well. That India, Middle East Economic Corridor, the big idea, the Abrahamic Accord idea, where President Donald Trump was invested during his previous administration between 2016 to 20, and even the Biden administration when they have signed this India Middle East Economic Corridor. This big idea cannot be fructified till the time Iran is supporting these excess of resistance, in their language or lingo, if you call them, the excess of evil. So that's why taking out Iran and Iran's capabilities is very important for the US as well as for Israel.